The church is full. The flowers are white and bright like morning. Everyone is smiling, waiting to hear the vows. I stand at the altar with my bouquet shaking in my hands. The choir sings softly behind me. My dress is simple but neat. My heart beats with hope. Ethan looks at me with a small smile. He steps closer, and for a second I think he will whisper something sweet. He leans near my ear. His breath is cold. His smile changes. "Try not to cry, poor," he whispers, so only I can hear. "I should have picked a richer bride, but it's fine. After today, I'll teach you how to look expensive." His words sting like pepper. My fingers go numb. I stare at him. He keeps smiling for the crowd, so they won't see what he just said. His lips keep moving close to my ear. "You should thank me," he hisses. "Without me, who would ever notice you? Don't faint. Your makeup is cheap. It will run." A small laugh escapes his throat. A few groomsmen snicker as if they already know his joke. My throat burns. I try to swallow. The pastor clears his voice to begin the vows, but Ethan lifts his hand and waves lightly, like he is silencing a waiter. "Hold on, pastor," he says. Then he faces the guests and raises my hand like a trophy. "Isn't she modest?" he says. "I asked for diamonds. She brought glass. But love makes sacrifices, right?" A whisper moves through the church like wind. People exchange looks. I freeze. The ring on my finger is real, it is not glass. But Ethan winks at his friends as if this is a fun show. I hear his mother, Miranda, let out a small cough that sounds like a hidden laugh. My cheeks burn. I feel very small and very alone. "Ethan," I whisper, my voice shaking. "Please." He tilts his head. "Smile, Olivia," he says through his teeth. "We don't want people to think you're ungrateful." The choir stops singing. The air feels thick. The pastor tries to speak again, but then the church doors burst open. A sharp, echoing bang fills the hall. Every head turns. A woman in a navy suit steps in, heels clicking on the floor, a stack of thick envelopes in her hands. Behind her, a short man holds a rolled map. The ushers rush toward them, confused. The woman's eyes scan the church until they land on me. "Olivia Reed," she calls. Her voice is clear and strong. "I need to speak to you at once." The whole church gasps. I feel the room tilt. The woman in the navy suit takes another step, and her envelopes slip. One kisses the floor and spreads papers like wings. And that is where the moment freezes, hanging like a bell that has been struck but has not yet stopped ringing. Before this day, before the white flowers and the harsh whisper and the loud doors, life was simple. My name is Olivia. I grew up in a little town called Riverbend, where the streets are lined with mango trees that don't bear fruit but still give shade. I was raised by my grandmother, Ruth, who always said, "Kindness is a seed, child. Plant it anywhere, and it will find rain." She taught me to sweep the front of our porch at dawn, to share stew with neighbors, to look people in the eye when I say good morning, and to never let my heart grow hard. Our house was small, our meals were simple, but our laughter was big. Grandma Ruth sold hand soap she made from shea and honey. I helped her wrap the bars with brown paper and tie them with twine. On Saturdays we took a little table to the market and smiled at strangers. Some bought, some didn't. Grandma still blessed them all. "Every person carries a storm we cannot see," she would say. "Be the quiet umbrella." In Riverbend, I was known for showing up. If Mrs. Hart's roof leaked, I brought a bucket. If Mr. Lee's store bell was broken, I fixed it with string. If the school needed crayons, I asked neighbors to bring old ones, and we melted them into new shapes. I never had much, but I gave what I could. That was my joy. I met Ethan in a bookstore on a rainy day. He stood near the window in a fine jacket that looked like it belonged to a shiny world. He had carefully cut hair and a smooth way of speaking that sounded like music from a radio. I was reading a book about building small gardens in big cities. "Do flowers grow in cracked places?" he asked, smiling. "Of course," I said. "Roots are brave." He laughed. He said he liked brave things. He offered me coffee. We sat and talked. He told me he worked in investments. which to me sounded like a big word full of glass buildings and long tables. He told me he liked my simple dress because it made me look real. He said, "Real is rare." Then he said it again, slower, as if he wanted the words to stay in the room. Real is rare. When I told Grandma about him, her face softened but did not glow. She listened and nodded. "Rich people can love too," she told me, "but a sharp knife can also be shiny. Hold it by the handle, not the blade." I said I understood, but truthfully I was already drifting. Ethan sent flowers. Ethan sent little notes. Ethan came to market and bought all our soap. He held my hand and told me my kindness felt like spring. He spoke about trips we could take, cities where the lights never sleep, and dinners where napkins are folded like birds. I let myself dream. I let myself believe. There were signs, small as ants. One day in a store I reached to pay for bread. Ethan stopped my hand with 2 fingers and gently slid his card into the machine. "We can't have people thinking my future wife carries coins," he whispered with a smile. He meant it as a joke, but the smile did not reach his eyes. Another time, at a friend's party, he laughed loudly when someone asked how we met. "In a bookstore," he said. "She was reading about gardens. Of course she was. A girl like her, simple and sweet." The word simple felt like a label on my forehead. I laughed too because everyone laughed. But later that night I cried a little in the bathroom. I wiped my tears with tissue and told myself it was nothing. I told my best friend Lily about the small things. Lily had eyes that did not forgive easily. "Watch him," she warned. "There is a quiet hunger in him." I tried to explain he was just confident, just from a different world. "Different is fine," Lily said, "but sharp is still sharp." Still, Ethan asked me to marry him at the edge of the river, under a willow tree, with fairy lights made by his team. He brought a ring in a box with soft velvet. "Say yes," he said, and his smile was perfect and the night was so pretty it felt rude to doubt. I said yes. The weeks before the wedding were a storm of ribbons and decisions. Ethan's mother, Miranda, took over the planning, as if our wedding was a business project. "We must upgrade your dress," she told me, flipping through a magazine. "We cannot have you looking like a school teacher." I am, in fact, a school teacher, and I love it. Children trust easily and forgive quickly. I smiled and said I liked simple lace. Miranda's lips pressed thin. "We will add a train," she said. "A long one. And crystals." Ethan nodded with her. "Listen to my mum," he said softly. "She knows excellence." I tried to keep my heart steady. When the baker could not finish our cake on time because her son got sick, I told her to rest and sent soup. Miranda was angry. "We paid for service," she said. "Soft hearts make weak plans." I cleaned the baker's kitchen myself and helped her finish. The cake was lovely. I brought a slice to Miranda. "Kindness always returns," I said. She took the plate without looking at me. 2 nights before the wedding, Grandma Ruth sat with me on our porch. The moon was shy behind a thin cloud. She gave me a small paper bag with a stone inside, smooth and cool. "From the river," she said. "Hold it when you feel small." "Why would I feel small on my wedding day?" I asked, trying to laugh. "Because some people grow by stepping on others," Grandma said softly. "And some people grow by lifting others. You will always be the second kind. But the first kind can be loud." I held the stone and nodded. "Grandma," I said, "are you worried about Ethan?" She looked at me for a long time. "I am praying for you," she said. Prayer is longer than worry. The morning of the wedding came bright and fast. The choir practiced early. The hall smelled like flowers and polish. I wore my simple lace dress with the long train Miranda insisted on, though the crystals kept falling like tiny stars. The seamstress pinned and repinned. Lily braided my hair into a low bun and slid in a small white comb that belonged to her mother. "For courage," she said. Ethan arrived late. His smile was wide, but his eyes were tired like he had laughed too much at a party. He hugged his groomsman first, then kissed my cheek so lightly it felt like a breeze. "You look fine," he said, and then louder. For everyone. Beautiful. We stood at the altar. The pastor smiled gently. He began to speak about love being patient and kind. Ethan shifted his weight and looked bored. He checked his phone once and smirked at a message. I heard Miranda's bracelet clink as she folded her arms. The choir sang, "Amazing Grace." And for a moment, I breathed again. Then came the whisper. Then came the small laugh. Then came the wave of his hand to stop the pastor. Then came the words to the crowd. And I stood there, a statue with a heart. When the doors burst open and the woman in the navy suit stepped in, I felt the room tilt again. The ushers stared. The guests whispered. Someone dropped a program and the soft paper fluttered like a bird. "Olivia Reed," the woman called. "It's urgent." Miranda frowned. "This is a wedding," she snapped. "Whatever you have can wait." The woman kept her eyes on me. "It cannot wait." Ethan leaned toward me, lips still smiling. "Are debt collectors crashing your big day?" he murmured. "Tell them to sit in back. We'll pay later." I stared at the woman. Something in her face was not cruel or hungry. It was steady. It was like a teacher's face when a student is lost. She took another step. The man behind her, short and nervous, clutched the rolled map like a lifeline. "Miss Reed," the woman said, softer now that she stood closer. "Please." The pastor looked at me, then at Ethan, then at the woman. He cleared his throat. "This is not usual," he said, "but perhaps we can pause for—" "No," Miranda cut in. "We do not pause for people who do not understand boundaries." Ethan raised his hand again as if to quiet a band. "Pastor," he said, "let's keep moving. Some people don't deserve the stage." He turned back to me with his smile that didn't touch his eyes. "Where were we? Ah, yes, your vows, keep them short." I felt the stone from the river warm in my palm, tucked inside my bouquet ribbon where Grandma had placed it. I took a breath. My mouth opened to speak, and the woman in the navy suit raised one envelope high as if it were a flag. "Then I will say it from here," she called. "Miss Reed, your signature is needed. Today." Ethan laughed. "She cannot sign anything," he said lightly. "She has nothing to sign." A hush fell. The woman's eyes flicked to Ethan's face and then back to mine. "It concerns your family," she said. "Your grandmother." My heart jumped. "Grandma." I turned to Lily in the front row. Lily's eyes were wide. She shook her head like she did not know what this was. The woman took a slow breath. "I am sorry to interrupt," she said, and her voice softened again. "But it truly cannot wait." Ethan rolled his eyes and looked at the guests. "You see," he said loudly. "This is what I mean. Drama follows people who don't have order." A few of his friends chuckled. My fingers tightened around my bouquet. The river stone pressed into my skin like a small moon. I thought of Grandma's words. Some people grow by stepping on others. The pastor, kind as always, tried to take control. "Let us give Miss Reed a moment to—" But before he could finish, a phone rang, loud, bright, and rude. It echoed through the church like a bell gone wild. Every head turned to Ethan. The screen flashed a name, Babe with a Heart. Ethan didn't even blush. He smiled, slow and lazy, and pressed silence. Then, very softly, so only I could hear, he said, "She forgets herself." The guests whispered. Miranda's face turned to stone. Lily stood up, half a step into the aisle, ready to run to me if I fell. My knees trembled. The woman in the navy suit held her envelope higher, like a shield. "Miss Reed," she called again, voice firm now. "Please, it is about your future." I looked at Ethan. He looked at me as if I were a window he could see through. I looked at the pastor. He gave me a small nod, as if to say, "You may breathe." I took one step back from the altar. Before I could take another, the side door of the church flew open with a violent crash. A young woman in a bright red dress stumbled in, hair wild, eyes wet with tears. She was holding a small phone in one hand and a hospital bracelet on the other. Her voice ripped through the air. "Ethan!" she cried. "Tell her the truth, or I will!" The church erupted. People stood. Cameras lifted. The choir forgot to be quiet. The woman in red pointed at Ethan with shaking fingers. "Tell her," she shouted, "or I will show them the messages. All of them." Ethan's smile finally broke. He closed his eyes for a second and then opened them slowly, like a man waking from a bad dream he had chosen. He lifted his chin and began to speak. And that is where we end for now. The truth is at the door, pounding like a drum. The air is thin, the floor is shaking. What will Ethan say? Who is the woman in red? Why does the woman in the navy suit hold papers for me? And how can one heart stand in a storm and not break? Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what you think will happen next. Like, share and subscribe so you don't miss what happened next. The church holds its breath. The young woman in the red dress stands near the aisle, chest heaving, mascara streaking her cheeks. She points at Ethan, like her arm is made of fire. "Tell her," she cries again, voice cracking, "or I will show everyone what you said to me last night." Every face turns to Ethan. The choir steps back as one. The pastor lowers his Bible. My bouquet trembles in my hands. My ears ring like drums. Ethan does not blink. He lifts his chin and tries to laugh, but the sound is thin. "Who is this?" he asks the room, as if the question will turn her into a ghost. "Security, please." The woman in red is faster. She holds up her phone, taps the screen, and the church speakers squeal as her voice connects to the microphone the wedding DJ forgot to mute. "Read it," she says in a broken whisper. She hands the phone to the usher. The usher looks at the screen, then at Ethan, then at me. His Adam's apple bobs like a fishing float. He doesn't want to be part of this. The young woman takes back the phone, opens a message thread and holds it high so the first rows can see. Blue bubbles. Ethan's name. "Baby," she reads aloud, shaking. "I can't wait any longer. After the wedding, we will fix it. You said she is only for the shine." Gasps ripple through the pews. Ethan's face goes flat. He tries to smile, but it is a cut that won't close. "Stop," he says. "You're confused." The woman's voice grows stronger. "You told me. Her simple face will help my brand look sweet and safe. We'll keep her quiet, then move her aside." She turns to me, eyes wet. "He said he would put me in an apartment near the lake. He said I was the real one." People stir. Someone whispers, "Lord, have mercy." Lily steps closer to the aisle, hands balled into fists. Miranda presses her lips into a line so tight it almost disappears. The groomsmen sink low in their suits like boys hiding behind desks. "Is this true?" the pastor asks quietly, looking at Ethan. Ethan's smile cracks for real. "Everyone calm down," he says. "This is a misunderstanding. You," he points at the woman in red, "are embarrassing yourself. You know I told you we would end things." The woman in red lifts her wrist. A hospital bracelet dangles. The whole church leans toward it like it is a bell. "End things," she whispers. "I was in the emergency room last night. Where were you?" She swallows. "You told me you loved me." The word loved falls heavy in the hall and rolls to my feet. My knees go soft. I grip the bouquet ribbon so hard, the river stone digs into my palm like a small round truth. The woman in the navy suit, the one with the envelopes, takes one slow step toward me as if she is ready to catch me if I fall. Her face is calm. She watches everything. "Enough!" Miranda snaps. She stands. Her voice is cold and sharp. "Young woman, you are not invited. Leave this instant or I will call the police." The woman in red takes a step back, shaking, but does not leave. She looks at me. "I am sorry," she says, voice small. "I didn't want to ruin your day. I wanted him to tell you." For a moment the hall goes quiet. Even the lights seem to listen. I look at Ethan. I am searching for a sign, regret, honesty, anything like a soft light. I only see fear covered with pride. "I don't know her," he says, eyes on the crowd, voice loud again. "She is trying to hurt us because she wants money." That is when the woman in the navy suit finally speaks. "Sir," she says, level and firm, "this is not your stage." She turns to me, lifts the envelope again and lowers her voice so it carries like a kind wave. Steady, strong. "Miss Reed, my name is Abigail Carter, attorney at law. she says. "I am here because your grandmother, Ruth Reed, is at St. Matthew Hospital and needs your consent for a procedure. And," she glances at the short, nervous man with the rolled map, "there is a second matter that must be signed by you today. If we do not sign it, the consequence will be severe." The church gasps again, but this time the sound is softer, confused, like a breeze that doesn't know where to go. My heart jumps to my throat. "Grandma?" I whisper. "Is she okay?" "She is stable," Abigail says, quick and sure. "But the doctors need your permission to go ahead with the treatment. And there is another matter your grandmother asked me to bring you personally. It is time-sensitive." A sob climbs up my chest and stops at my lips. I nod. "We need to go," I say to the pastor, to Lily, to anyone who will listen. "Now." Ethan reaches for my elbow. "No," he says through his teeth, smiling for the guests while pressing hard. "We finish this. We can deal with her later." He tilts his head toward the woman in red. "And with these interruptions." I take my arm back. "Ethan," I say, and my voice is small but clear, "my grandmother raised me. I am going to her." He rolls his eyes. "You see, everyone," he says to the church, "this is what I mean about messy people." Lily moves like thunder. She steps between us so fast Ethan flinches. "She's going," Lily says, "and you will not touch her." The woman in red looks lost, wobbling on her heels. I step toward her and, without thinking, take off my veil. I wrap it around her shoulders like a shawl. The fabric settles. Her lips tremble. "Thank you," she whispers. "Be kind to yourself," I say, voice shaking. "I am not acting brave. I am just doing what Grandma taught me. Find the person in the room who is breaking and hand them a cup of water." Abigail glances at me with the smallest nod, as if she sees the choice and marks it in her heart. "We should go," she says softly. "The car is outside. Quickly." The pastor clears his throat, trying to hold the edges of the day together. "Ladies and gentlemen," he says, lifting his hands, "we will take a brief pause for family matters. Please stay seated." Miranda is not ready to let go. She sweeps toward me, perfume sharp as a slap. "Olivia," she says in a voice that tries to sound motherly and misses, "if you leave, the reporters will make this a circus. Finish the vows, then deal with your old woman and the mess you brought to our door." Something in me rises. It is small and quiet and fierce. "My grandmother is not a mess," I say. "She is my home." Miranda's nostrils flare. This wedding can wait," the pastor says, surprising everyone. His voice is steady. "No covenant is built on cruelty. Let the bride go." Abigail takes my elbow, gentle and firm. The short man with the map scuttles behind us like a worried bird. Lily walks on my other side. We move down the aisle. The church parts around us. Some faces are kind, some are hungry for drama, some are blank, not sure which way to feel. At the door, I turn once and look back. Ethan stands at the altar, jaw tight, eyes hot. For a second, I remember the bookstore and the soft way he said real is rare. That memory feels like a picture that belongs to someone else. We step into the bright day. The sky is wide and clean. The air smells like pine and polish. Abigail opens the back door of a dark sedan. "Please," she says. "Time is urgent." I slide in. Lily gets in beside me. The woman in red hovers in the doorway like a red flame. I take her hand and press my veil tighter around her shoulders. "Go home," I whisper. "Drink water. Call someone you trust, not him." She nods, tears bright as glass. "My name is Harper," she says suddenly, like she wants at least one true thing to live in the world. "Harper Gray." "Harper," I say, "you will be okay." She steps back. Abigail closes the door. The car pulls away. For a moment, none of us speak. The driver glides through quiet streets. Abigail watches me with careful eyes, an anchor in a lawyer's suit. The short man with the map, his name, she tells us, is Miguel, sits forward, wringing the rolled paper in his hands. "I know it is your wedding day," Abigail says gently, "and I am sorry to tear you away. But your grandmother was clear. She said if we could not reach you at home, we should go to the church." "What happened to her?" I ask, voice small. A transient ischemic attack, Abigail says. A warning stroke. The doctors think a quick procedure now will prevent a larger stroke later. They need your consent because she listed you as next of kin for medical decisions. My breath leaves my body in a rush. Is she in pain? She is brave, Abigail says, and something about the way she says it tells me she has already met Grandma and been caught by her light. She keeps asking if you are safe. She wants you to sign one more thing first. Miguel nods, eager and nervous. It is a maturation notice, he says. I work for Reed Heritage Holdings, well, technically for the trustee who manages it. I handle maps and parcels and I'm rambling, he adds, cheeks red. Reed Heritage? I frown. I don't. That's our last name, but we don't own anything with a name on it. We have our porch and our soap table. Abigail opens her briefcase and pulls out a thin folder, plain and heavy at once. She doesn't hand it to me yet. She just holds it on her lap like a sleeping bird you don't want to startle. Your grandmother asked me not to explain everything in a car, she says. She wants to look at you when we talk. She says news travels better on the wind of a loved one's breath. A small laugh escapes me, broken and bright. That sounds like her. It does, Abigail says, and her eyes soften. The hospital rises ahead, tall, clean, wrapped in glass. We pull into the driveway. Nurses hurry, wheels squeak on shiny floors, carts rattle like quiet thunder. The air smells like lemon and medicine. Abigail leads us up to the 3rd floor. The elevator ride is too short and too long at the same time. We find Grandma's room. She is sitting up, grey scarf tied around her hair, eyes clear and full. When she sees me, her mouth turns into a smile so warm it could undo any knot. Tears rush to my eyes. I run to her. Child, she whispers, voice thin but strong. You came. I always will, I say, and I press my forehead to hers, breathing in soap and mint, and something that smells like home on a cold day. Lily slips out to get water. Abigail stands back, giving us space, but I can tell she is counting minutes in her head. Miguel hovers near the window, clutching his map. Grandma's fingers are warm and dry in mine. You look pretty, she says. Everything. Got loud, I say. At the church. Her eyes are wise. Storms love weddings, she says, but boats learn in storms. I nod and try to laugh, but it comes out as a hiccup. Ethan, she squeezes my hand. Leave wolves to the forest, she says softly. Look at me. I look. Her eyes are like lamplight, soft but strong. I taught you to be kind, she says, but I did not teach you to be a doormat. Kindness is not weakness, it is strength that chooses gentleness. Remember that. I will, I whisper. The doctor comes in, careful and quick. He explains the procedure. It is straightforward, he says, but they can't wait long. He asks for my consent. My hands shake as I sign. The pen feels heavy. The paper feels like a bridge that must be crossed. When I am done, Abigail clears her throat. Ruth, she says, should we discuss the second matter now, if your energy allows? Grandma leans back on the pillow and nods. It is time, she says. She looks at me and smiles at my confusion. Do not be afraid of paper, she tells me. Paper is only trees that learn to speak. Abigail takes out the thin folder and lays it on the tray table. She opens it slowly. Inside are documents with neat lines and heavy seals. Miguel steps forward, ready with his map. He unrolls it on the bed, careful of the IV tubes and the little beeping machine. The map shows a scatter of small boxes, dots, lines, and names of places I know and places I don't. Riverbend, Wolf Hollow, Willow Park, even a line far away that says North Harbor. Your grandfather left things, Grandma says gently. Not money, not back then. He left land. He was mocked for it. She looks at me and smiles. People laughed. He could not raise a big house, but he raised little squares on paper. I blink, trying to understand. I thought we had nothing, I whisper. You always said we were blessed even without big things. We were, Grandma says, but I also planted seeds I did not talk about. Some seeds grow in the ground. Some grow in quiet offices. Both are watched by God. Abigail taps the document with one careful finger. These parcels were placed in a blind trust in your birth name when you turned 18, she says. Your grandmother handled everything with a trusted friend. The trust matures in stages. Today is one of those stages. Without your signature, control will move to a fallback board for a year. Your grandmother begged us not to let that happen. My head swims. I can't hold this in my head, I say softly. That's okay, Grandma whispers. You will hold it in your heart first. Lily returns with water and presses a cold cup into my hand. I drink. My body remembers it is made of water too. Abigail flips a page. Miss Reed, she says, these are deeds, mineral rights, leases, easements, many small things. They are not shiny. They are quiet, but they are real. Your signature continues the plan your grandparents set in motion. We can explain each piece in time. For now, we simply need to keep the door open. I look at Grandma. She nods once, slow and sure. Kindness is not blind, she says. It reads fine print. She smiles. Sign, child. I sign. The pen moves through my name like it knows the way. Abigail places the papers back in the folder with the care of a person tucking a baby into bed. Miguel rolls his map, hands still shaking, but his smile lights up his whole face. Thank you, he breathes. We made it. The doctor returns with a nurse. It is time, he says gently. I kiss Grandma's forehead. I will be here when you wake up, I say. Of course, she whispers with a small laugh. I will wake to find you spreading blankets over strangers. Her eyes dance. Even now she teases. You gave away your veil, didn't you? I blush. She was cold. Good, Grandma says. Kindness is a coat that warms two people, the one who wears it and the one who lends it. They wheel her out. My heart goes with the bed down the hall. The doors swing shut. The small waiting room outside the surgical ward smells like coffee and hand gel. A TV plays a cooking show with no sound. I sit. My dress rustles like waves. Lily sits beside me and holds my hand. Abigail stands nearby on her phone, speaking in a low voice to someone about filings and timestamps. Miguel stares at the map tube like it might float away. Silence grows roots. I think about the church, the borrowed smiles, the white flowers. I think about the woman in red, Harper, walking away with my veil around her shoulders like a new skin. I think about Ethan's face when his screen said babe. My stomach knots. A question tiptoes into my chest and sits down. What kind of love mocks a person at the altar? The elevator dings. We look up. Two policemen step out, followed by a hospital security guard, and, behind them like a storm in a fine coat, Miranda. Her heels strike the floor like hammers. Ethan walks beside her, face polished back into calm. Two groomsmen follow, uncomfortable in tuxedos in a hospital hallway. The sight makes the air colder. Miranda stops in front of me and points a finger so close I can see the pale polish on her nail. You have humiliated my son, she says, voice low and fierce. Do you think you can run away and spin stories about him? Do you think you can stir up drama and then hide here? This is a hospital, Abigail says calmly, stepping between us. Lower your voice. Miranda pretends not to hear. She thrusts her other hand forward. It holds the thin folder I signed, the one Abigail tucked away. My blood turns to ice. How did you... Abigail starts. I took it from your little bag while you hugged in the hallway, Miranda says with a smile that is not a smile. She flips the folder open with one hand and fans the papers like cards. Her eyes gleam. Reed Heritage Holdings, parcels, leases. No wonder you thought you could play games. You were planning to trap my son with paperwork. Ethan's eyes dart over the words. He looks at me, and for the first time since the doors burst at the church, I see hunger without a mask. It looks like a wolf that has found a new smell. This is private property, Abigail says evenly. Return those documents now. Miranda lifts her chin. Or what? You'll have this little town cop arrest me for reading? One of the policemen clears his throat. Ma'am, we're here because the hospital called. This is a quiet floor. You can talk, but keep it calm. Miranda keeps flipping pages until her gaze lands on a single line. A line with a date, a list of parcels, and a word she understands. Value. I watch her pupils widen like doors blown open by wind. She stares at the number tucked into the text, a number written like a mountain. Everything in the hallway slows. The TV partway down the hall shows a pan of onions turning gold. The nurse's shoes whisper across tile. A patient coughs in a room nearby, then sighs. In this soft, ordinary noise, Miranda's face changes. Her mouth opens, then closes, then forms a new kind of smile, thin and sharp and bright like a blade under light. Ethan leans over her shoulder, eyes drinking. Abigail steps forward. Enough, she says quietly. Give them back, now. Miranda does not move. She looks at me like I am a locked door and she has just found the key. She opens her mouth. And in a voice that carries all the way down the empty hall, Miranda reads out loud the value line she saw. One of many lines, one of many values, a number that should have been spoken gently, privately, with care and context and love. It lands in the air like a stone thrown through stained glass. The nurses stop. Lily's hand crushes mine. Miguel whispers a prayer in Spanish. Abigail's eyes go fierce. Ethan's breath quickens like a runner who sees a finish line that isn't his. Miranda smiles at me with the joy of a person who thinks she has finally found the lever to move the world. "Oh, Olivia," she says sweetly, "you poor simple girl." She lifts the folder higher, as if blessing the room. "I think," she says, voice ringing, "we need to talk about becoming family." The surgical doors burst open at that exact moment. A nurse runs out, face tight, looking for me. Her eyes find mine. "Olivia Reed," she says, urgent. "We need you, now." Alarms chirp behind the closed doors. The hallway shivers. I stand on shaking legs. "Is my grandmother okay?" I ask. But the nurse is already guiding me toward the bright, cold light. And the folder with my name on it is still in Miranda's hand, and Ethan is already moving closer like a shadow that wants to become a wall. The new storm has arrived. The nurse's shoes squeak against the polished floor as she rushes me through the swinging doors. My heart is thundering, my veil gone, my gown heavy with sweat. Behind me, I can still hear Miranda's voice echoing down the hallway, sharp as broken glass. Ethan's footsteps follow like a predator that won't let go. Abigail's voice rises, calm but firm, arguing with the officers. Lily shouts my name once before the doors swing shut, locking her outside. Inside, the lights are harsh and white. Machines beep in uneven patterns. The air is cold, too cold, as if to freeze panic before it spreads. I see them rolling my grandmother's bed into a small operating room. She looks smaller than I've ever seen her, but her eyes, oh, her eyes, find mine. "Child," she whispers as they fit a mask over her face. "Don't let them make you forget who you are." The mask hisses. The doctors speak quickly, words I can't catch, their hands moving with practiced speed. One of them glances at me. "Stay here. We'll update you," he says, before the door shuts in my face. I press my hands against the wall. My chest heaves. A sob claws at my throat, but won't come out. Instead, I feel the smooth river stone in my palm. It's warm, as if Grandma's strength has slipped into it. I clutch it tight. The hallway is empty except for the faint hum of machines. Then the doors behind me swing open. Ethan steps in, his face calm again, the mask back in place. He looks like a man who has forgotten he was caught. Behind him, Miranda follows, folder still clutched under her arm like a trophy. Two policemen hover uncertainly by the door, unsure whether to stay or leave. Ethan spreads his hands. "Olivia," he says softly, "listen to me. We've had interruptions, but we can fix this. We can walk out together, finish the ceremony, and silence all these rumors." I stare at him. "Rumors." My voice cracks. "She showed them your messages. Everyone heard." His smile doesn't falter. She's unstable. You saw the bracelet. Hospitals confuse people. She wanted attention. He steps closer, lowering his voice. What matters is us. And now I see. He glances at Miranda, then at the folder. You've been holding back property, assets, all this time, and you let me believe you were just simple. The word cuts me again, sharper than before. My grip tightens on the stone. You mocked me at the altar, I whisper. You laughed at me in front of everyone. He shrugs as if brushing off dust. I miscalculated, that's all. But think of what we could do together now. 750 million, Olivia. 750 million. His eyes glitter like coins in firelight. Do you understand? With that, we could rule this city. Miranda steps closer, her perfume heavy. He's right, she says smoothly. We can build an empire, you'll thank us later. I shake my head, stepping back until my spine touches the cold wall. This isn't about money, I say. It's about kindness, about love. And you don't know either. Ethan's smile flickers just for a second. His jaw clenches. Then he laughs, low and dangerous. You really don't understand how this world works, do you? Before I can answer, the operating room door bursts open. A doctor steps out, mask lowered, sweat beading his brow. She's stable, he says quickly. Relief floods me. My knees almost give way. The procedure went well, but she'll need rest. You can see her soon. I press my hands together, whispering thanks. The doctor nods, then hurries away. But the relief lasts only a moment, because Miranda lifts the folder higher, her eyes gleaming. Stable, she repeats softly. Good. That means we have time to settle. Family matters. She tucks the folder under her arm and steps closer to me. You will give Ethan full control of this estate, she says. You'll sign whatever Abigail gave you. You'll make him the executor. And in return, she smiles, you'll stay married. With comfort, with status, with protection, no one will mock you again. Her words drip like poison. Ethan nods, lips curled in a half-smile. Say yes, Olivia. It's the smart move. You don't want to end up alone. Something in me hardens. Grandma's words ring in my ears. Kindness is strength that chooses gentleness, but strength also means saying no. I take a breath, clutch the stone, and meet their eyes. No, I say. My voice is not loud, but it is steady. I won't. Ethan's smile dies. Miranda's eyes narrow. The folder crinkles in her hand. The policemen shift uncomfortably, glancing at each other. And then, as if the world itself answers my choice, the elevator doors at the end of the hall slide open. Abigail strides out, Lily on her heels, and behind them, limping but alive, supported by 2 nurses, comes Grandma Ruth herself, refusing to stay in bed. The whole hallway stills. Grandma's voice, weak but clear, carries like a bell. My granddaughter said no, and when she says no, it is final. Miranda freezes, folder still clutched in her hand. Ethan stares, his mask slipping again, his hunger plain for all to see. The policemen straighten. Lily's eyes burn. Abigail lifts her chin. And me? I breathe. For the first time since the altar, I breathe. But the storm isn't over. Because Miranda's fingers tighten on the folder, and Ethan takes one step forward, his eyes locked on me, fury simmering beneath the calm. The fight for truth has only just begun. The hospital hallway holds its breath. Grandma Ruth, pale but unbroken, stands between the nurses like a tree that refuses to fall. Her scarf is loose, her steps are slow, but her eyes blaze with the same fire that raised me. She points her trembling finger straight at Miranda and Ethan. You will not take what does not belong to you, she says, her voice steady despite the weakness in her body. This child has given her life to kindness. She will not be mocked, used, or broken by wolves in sheep's clothing. Miranda's smile cracks. Her knuckles whiten around the folder. Ruth, she says, her tone syrupy, you are unwell. Rest. Let grown people handle grown matters. But Grandma laughs softly, shaking her head. You think paper makes you groan? Paper means nothing if your heart is small, and you, Miranda, have the smallest heart I have ever seen. The nurses glance at each other, unsure whether to guide Grandma back into her room. But she lifts her hand, and even they pause as if her strength commands them. Abigail steps forward, her heels clicking like a gavel. Return the documents, she tells Miranda firmly. They are Olivia's legal property. Taking them is theft. Ethan scoffs, stepping closer to me. His smile is gone now, replaced by sharpness. Don't be naive, Olivia, he hisses. This isn't about kindness. This is about power. You have no idea what those papers mean. With me, you'll survive. Without me. His eyes sweep the room, resting on Grandma. You'll lose everything. My heart pounds, but I remember Grandma's words. Kindness is not weakness. I lift my chin. I would rather lose everything than tie myself to someone who mocks me at the altar. The policemen shift, their hands brushing their belts. One clears his throat. Mum, he says to Miranda, please give the folder back. Miranda's jaw tightens. Slowly, she hugs the folder tighter against her chest, as if it were a baby. You don't understand, she says through gritted teeth. This is more than land. This is power my son deserves. Grandma steps forward, her voice low but sharp. Deserve? She coughs, but her words cut through the air. A man who mocks his bride does not deserve her trust. A man who cheats does not deserve her love. And a woman who steals does not deserve her neighbor's respect. The hallway murmurs. Even the nurses exchange glances. Ethan looks furious, Miranda looks cornered, but still they do not let go. And then Lily moves. She has been silent all this time, standing at my side like a shield. Now she steps forward, her eyes blazing. She walks straight to Miranda, stopping inches away. Her voice is calm, but her words are sharp as knives. You called Olivia simple. You laughed at her kindness. But do you know why people love her? Because she is everything you are not. She gives without asking, she lifts without mocking. And no matter how much money you find on those papers, you'll never buy what she has. The hallway goes still. For a moment, even Miranda falters, her fingers twitching on the folder. But Ethan grabs it from her arms in one swift move. Enough, he shouts. This is ours now. You think you can stop me? He waves the folder like a weapon. You can't. She married me. That means everything she has is mine. The words slam into me like a blow. For a moment, I can't breathe. Married? My eyes sting. Did the ceremony count, even after the chaos? But then Abigail's voice slices through the silence. No, she says, cool and clear. The vows were never finished. The marriage is not legal, and that means Olivia Reed owes you nothing. The policemen straighten. Miranda gasps. Ethan's eyes widen in shock, then narrow into fury. His hand shakes around the folder. Give it back, Abigail says, stepping closer, her hand outstretched. But Ethan doesn't. His jaw tightens. His eyes flicker with desperation. And then, in one sudden, reckless move, he turns and bolts down the hallway, clutching the folder like a thief. The policemen shout. Miranda screams his name. Lily grabs my hand. Grandma's face turns pale as paper. Abigail kicks off her heels and runs. The chase has begun. The hospital hallway erupts into chaos. Ethan runs, his tuxedo shoes slipping on the polished floor, the stolen folder clutched tight against his chest. Nurses shout. Patients peer from doorways. The policemen rush after him, their radios crackling. Miranda stumbles, shrieking his name, her heels clattering like hammers. Stop him! Abigail's voice cuts through the noise as she sprints, hair flying loose from her bun. Lily pulls me along by the hand, refusing to let me freeze. Grandma is eased back into a wheelchair by the nurses, her voice trembling but fierce. Don't let him win, child, don't let him. We round the corner. Ethan shoves past a cleaner pushing a cart. Bottles crash to the floor, the smell of bleach burning the air. He barrels toward the stairwell, his tux jacket flapping like dark wings. One of the policemen lunges, but Ethan kicks the door open and disappears down the steps. Split up, Abigail barks. She takes the stairs. The officers thunder after her. I'm dragged toward the elevator with Lily. My hands tremble. The river stones slick in my palm. The elevator doors open with a groan. We rush inside. Lily punches the ground floor button. "If he's running for the exit, we'll cut him off," she pants. My heart pounds so loudly I can barely hear the elevator hum. My mind swirls with Grandma's voice, with Ethan's mocking words at the altar, with Miranda's sharp eyes. I press the stone hard against my palm, whispering a prayer I don't even remember learning. The doors slide open to the lobby. Bright light pours in from the wide glass doors at the front of the hospital. People scatter as Ethan bursts from the stairwell, folder still in hand, sweat soaking through his shirt. His eyes are wild now. No mask, no charm, only greed and desperation. "Ethan, stop!" I cry before I can think. He freezes for half a heartbeat. Our eyes lock. His lips curl into a sneer. "You don't deserve this, Olivia," he spits. "You don't even understand what you have." Before I can answer, Abigail appears from the stairwell, breathless but unyielding. The policemen follow, one reaching for his radio. "Sir, put it down," the officer commands. But Ethan bolts again, straight for the doors. "Block him," Abigail shouts. A hospital security guard steps into his path. Ethan swerves, nearly falling. Papers spill from the folder, fluttering across the floor like frightened birds. Gasps rise from the crowd as people see the official seals, the heavy ink, the names of towns and plots of land. Ethan scrambles, trying to scoop them back, but Abigail reaches him, grabbing his arm. "Let go," he roars, yanking free. He slams his shoulder into her, knocking her down. Lily screams and runs to help. The officers close in. And then, in the middle of the chaos, Miranda steps forward. Her face is pale, her lipstick smudged, but her eyes burn with the same hunger as her son's. She stoops, snatches a handful of the papers, and clutches them to her chest. "Run, Ethan," she cries. "I've got the rest." Time slows. I see Ethan's hand reach for her. I see the officers moving too slow. I see Abigail struggling to rise, and I see the folder lying open at my feet, the remaining documents scattered in a wide fan. My heart steadies. Grandma's voice echoes in my memory. Kindness is not weakness. It is strength that chooses gentleness. I kneel, gather the papers with both hands, and clutch them to my chest. My voice rises strong and clear, cutting through the madness. "No more." Everyone freezes. My gown rustles as I stand, the papers secure in my arms, the river stone pressing against my palm. My voice trembles, but it carries. "You mocked me at the altar, Ethan. You used me. You lied. But you will not take my grandmother's legacy. Not today. Not ever." For a moment, silence reigns. Then Miranda lunges toward me, her eyes wild. "Give them back," she shrieks. "You don't deserve them." Before she can reach me, Lily steps in front of me like a wall. Abigail, back on her feet, holds up her badge. The policemen finally move, pinning Ethan's arms, prying the last papers from his grasp. Miranda screams, struggling, but the officers surround her too. The crowd in the lobby whispers, eyes wide. Strangers hold up phones, recording every moment. And just like that, the wolves are cornered. But even as the officers hold them, Ethan looks at me, his eyes burning with a promise. "This isn't over, Olivia," he growls. "You think you've won, but you don't know what's coming." A chill runs through me, because in his voice I hear something darker than greed. I hear a plan. The battle at the hospital is only the beginning. What secret does Ethan still hold? What is he planning now that the papers are no longer in his hands? The lobby buzzes with murmurs, flashing phones and scattered papers. Security pulls Miranda and Ethan toward the side exit, but their eyes, sharp, furious, never leave me. I clutch the folder tight against my chest. Abigail steadies me with one hand while Lily holds my other. "Are you all right?" Abigail whispers. I nod shakily, though my knees feel like water. "Yes, but Grandma, she's stable," Abigail assures me. "The doctors are with her. She'll be all right." Relief floods me, but it is quickly replaced by fear as Ethan twists against the officer's grip. "You'll regret this, Olivia," he shouts. "You think papers and pity will protect you. I know things you don't. Secrets your sweet grandmother never told you." His words slice through the lobby like lightning. People gasp. My breath catches. What secrets? Miranda jerks forward, her lipstick smudged, her hair undone, but her voice sharp as ever. Mark my words, she spits. You'll crawl back to us. This world doesn't reward kindness, it eats it alive. And when it chews you up, don't expect pity from me. The officers drag them out into the bright sunlight. Their shouts echo faintly before the doors slam shut, muting their anger. The crowd begins to scatter, whispers trailing in their wake. Abigail guides me to a quiet corner. She kneels, carefully sliding the papers back into the folder. Her hands move with precision, but her eyes are worried. Ethan knows too much, she says under her breath. If he has information we don't, he could still cause damage. Lily folds her arms tightly. Let him try. We'll fight him at every corner. He's not winning this time. But even as she speaks, I feel the weight of Ethan's words pressing on me. Secrets your grandmother never told you. The elevator dings. The nurse from earlier steps out, smiling. She's asking for you, she says softly. My heart leaps. We ride back up to the 3rd floor. Grandma's room smells of lavender soap and lemon disinfectant. She sits propped against her pillows, tired but glowing. Her eyes sparkle when she sees me. You came back in one piece, she says, her voice like a warm blanket. I rush to her side. Grandma, Ethan tried to steal everything. He said there are secrets you never told me. Her expression doesn't change, but her eyes soften with something deep, something heavy. She pats the bed. Sit, child. I do. Abigail closes the door, giving us privacy. Lily stands near the window like a guard. Grandma takes my hand. Her fingers are frail, but firm. There are things I didn't tell you, she says quietly. Not because I wanted to hide them, but because I wanted you to grow with a clean heart. Too much knowledge too soon can poison a soul. I swallow hard. What kind of things? She looks at Abigail, then at me. Her voice drops to a whisper. Your grandfather's land, it wasn't just land, it sits on resources, mineral rights, water rights, timber. When the trust matures, its worth isn't 750 million. My breath catches. Then, how much? Her eyes meet mine. More than double. The words slam into me. My hand trembles in hers. Why didn't you tell me? Grandma's eyes glisten. Because people kill for money, Olivia, and I needed you to grow into a woman who values people more than paper. Ethan showed me why I was right. Tears sting my eyes. But what if he knows? What if he tells others? Grandma squeezes my hand. Then you let your kindness be your armor, and you let truth be your sword. Wolves may bite, but they always starve when their lies catch up to them. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. But then Abigail clears her throat. Ruth, she says carefully, we may have a problem. If Ethan heard whispers of the real value, he may already be planning his next move. We need to protect Olivia, and this inheritance, before he strikes again. Grandma sighs. Yes, he will not stop. But Olivia, she turns back to me, her eyes burning with both love and warning. You must be ready. Ethan is clever and Miranda is ruthless. This storm isn't done. It is only shifting. Before I can answer, the hospital room door bursts open. A nurse stumbles in, face pale, holding a tablet. Miss Reed, she gasps. You need to see this. It's all over the news. Your wedding, the interruption, the fight, the chase. And Ethan, he's speaking outside. The tablet screen lights up. A live stream plays. Ethan stands in front of the hospital, cameras flashing around him. His tux is wrinkled, his tie loose, but his smile is back, the charming mask he wears so well. She betrayed me, he tells the cameras smoothly. She tricked me into believing she was poor. She hid her fortune from me, and my only crime, loving her. The reporters gasp. His voice drips with false pain. Now she's painting me as a thief. But the truth is, Olivia Reed deceived us all. The crowd around him claps. The video shakes as people cheer his words. My chest tightens. Abigail curses under her breath. Lily punches the wall. Grandma closes her eyes. Ethan's smile widens as he points toward the hospital doors. If she won't share her fortune, The world deserves to know the truth about her family. And believe me—" He pauses for effect, eyes gleaming. "The truth will destroy her." The feed crackles. My heart sinks. Because I know now. Ethan isn't just fighting for money. He's fighting for my name. What truth does Ethan claim to know? Will Olivia's reputation survive his lies? Or is there truly a secret hidden in her family's past? The room feels like it has no air. Ethan's voice echoes from the tablet, slick and convincing, dripping poison into ears eager for gossip. Outside, reporters cheer him on like he's a hero instead of a liar. Grandma Ruth opens her eyes slowly, her lips pressed together. "This is what wolves do, child. When they can't eat your bread, they'll try to poison your name." Lily paces by the window, fists clenched. "We can't let him get away with this. He's spinning the whole story. By tonight, everyone will think you tricked him." Abigail sets the tablet down, her jaw tight. And in America, perception can sometimes weigh heavier than facts. If he controls the narrative, it will be harder to protect your inheritance. Investors, trustees, even the court of public opinion, they all get nervous when there's scandal. My hands tremble. I clutch the riverstone, pressing it so hard into my palm that it almost cuts. "What do I do?" Grandma pats my hand gently. "You stand. A storm cannot knock down a tree with deep roots. Remember who you are." But even as she speaks, the door creaks open again. A young nurse slips inside, her face pale. "Miss Reed, there's something else." She holds up her phone. Another video is playing, this one filmed on a shaky camera. Ethan stands on the hospital steps, Miranda beside him, waving the stolen papers before the police stop them. His voice is loud, confident. "These documents prove her family's fortune was hidden for decades," he declares. "And I have reason to believe it wasn't earned honestly. Her grandfather's land was taken from poor families. People cheated out of their homes. This is blood money." The crowd gasps in the video. Reporters lean forward. Ethan's smirk grows. "So tell me," he says, eyes gleaming, "should one woman hoard hundreds of millions built on lies, or should the people get justice?" The video ends. The nurse swallows nervously. "It's spreading everywhere. Social media, the news, they're calling you a fraud, Miss Reed." The room tilts. My throat closes. "Fraud," I whisper. Grandma's eyes harden. "Lies," she says firmly. "Your grandfather worked his hands raw for that land. He traded fair, he planted fair, he built fair. But I told you before, people kill for money. And when they cannot kill you, they kill your name." Abigail rubs her temple. "Ethan's accusation is dangerous. If enough people believe it, they could drag you into a legal war. Even if it's false, the damage could last years." Lily slams her palm against the wall. "Then we fight. We find the truth, the real truth, and we show it before he twists it further." Grandma looks at me, her eyes heavy with unspoken weight. "Olivia, there is a truth about your grandfather's land, not the one Ethan spews, but a truth you must hear. I thought I could carry it until I left this world, but it seems the storm has come early." I grip her hand. "Tell me," I beg. Her lips tremble. She glances at Abigail, then at Lily, then back to me. Finally, she whispers, "Your grandfather didn't just leave land. He left a promise tied to families who once worked that land with him, people he vowed to take care of. That promise is still waiting, and if Ethan digs deep enough, he will find them first." My heart stops. "What do you mean, waiting?" Grandma closes her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. "There are people who believe the land should have been theirs. Some never forgave. Some still carry bitterness in their blood. If Ethan finds them, he will use them against you. He will paint you as a thief instead of a daughter." The room is silent except for the soft hum of machines. My chest tightens as the weight of her words sinks in. Ethan isn't just after money anymore. He's after the truth Grandma hid. And if he gets to it before I do, he'll twist it until the world sees me not as a bride betrayed, but as a villain. Grandma grips my hand tighter, her eyes blazing despite her weakness. You must find those families before he does, Olivia. You must show them kindness before he shows them lies. Abigail nods sharply. She's right. If we track down the records, the names, we can honor the promises your grandfather made and cut Ethan off before he poisons the well. Lily's voice shakes, but it's strong. Then let's move. We don't have time to waste. I rise slowly, clutching the folder, the stone, and my grandmother's words. My knees are weak, but my heart beats steady, because I know now, this fight isn't just about money. It's about legacy. It's about promises made long ago. And Ethan is already running toward them. Will Olivia find the families before Ethan twists them to his side? Will the truth of her grandfather's promise heal old wounds or open new ones? The night sky hangs heavy over the hospital. The streets outside buzz with reporters and flashing cameras, each hungry for the next headline. Ethan's lies have already spread like wildfire. Everywhere people are whispering my name with suspicion. Inside Grandma's room, the air feels just as tense. Abigail spreads the papers across a small table, scanning line after line. Lily paces the floor like a lion, restless and ready to strike. I sit beside Grandma, holding her hand, the river stone warm in my palm. We need to move quickly, Abigail says, tapping one of the documents. These deeds mention the families your grandfather partnered with, small sharecroppers, workers he trusted. But over time, some drifted away, some were pushed out. Their names are here, buried in the old contracts. If Ethan has already found this list, she shakes her head, he'll spin them into his allies. Grandma sighs, her eyes heavy with memory. Your grandfather promised to share profits when the land grew, but the money never came in time. He died before he could honor it. I was left to raise you with soap and kindness instead of wealth. Her voice cracks. Some families forgave, some did not. Their children may still carry anger. I squeeze her hand. Then we must find them before Ethan does. We'll show them the truth. We'll finish grandfather's promise. Abigail nods. That means travel, records, face-to-face talks. This won't be settled in a courtroom. It has to be settled in their hearts. Lily plants her hands on the window ledge, her reflection glowing against the glass. Then let's go. Tonight. Before Ethan gets a head start. But as she speaks, my phone buzzes in my lap. A notification flashes. Live broadcast, Ethan Blake. I tap it. His face fills the screen, perfectly lit, his suit freshly pressed. Behind him, Miranda stands tall, her smile thin and sharp. Reporters cluster around them. Ethan's voice flows smooth as silk. My bride abandoned me at the altar today, he says, lowering his eyes in mock sorrow. I loved her, but she deceived me. She hid her wealth, and now she hides her family's crimes. But don't worry, I'll uncover the truth. I'll find the people her grandfather cheated. I'll give them justice. And when I do, the world will see me not as a victim, but as a voice for the voiceless. The crowd applauds. Cameras flash. Miranda leans in and whispers something in his ear, and Ethan's smirk grows. Abigail swears under her breath. He's already weaponizing the promise. I feel my chest tighten. If he gets there first, he'll twist kindness into betrayal. He'll paint me as a thief while holding himself up as a savior. Grandma touches my cheek with her frail hand. Child, she whispers, kindness is stronger than lies, but only if it moves faster. Her words settle deep in me. I rise to my feet, clutching the folder. Then we start tonight. Abigail nods. The first family listed lives in Oak Ridge County. It's a 2-hour drive. I'll call ahead and arrange transport. Lily grabs her coat, determination flashing in her eyes. We'll face them together. You're not going alone. I turn to Grandma. Will you be okay without me? Her smile is tired but strong. Go, Olivia. Finish what your grandfather began. Don't let Ethan poison the roots of this tree. I bend down, pressing my forehead to hers. Tears sting my eyes. I'll make you proud, Grandma. I already am, she whispers. We leave the hospital under the cover of night. The air is cool, the moon hidden behind heavy clouds. Abigail drives, Lily in the back beside me, Maps and documents spread across her lap. My fingers trace the names of the families, each one a story waiting to be heard. But as we near Oakridge, headlights flash in the rearview mirror. A black SUV tails us, speeding when we speed, slowing when we slow. My stomach knots. "Do you see that?" I whisper. Abigail checks the mirror. Her jaw tightens. "Yes, too close to be random." Lily leans forward, peering out the back window. "That's them. It has to be. Ethan's people." The SUV suddenly swerves, pulling up beside us. For a split second, I see Miranda in the passenger seat, her face lit by the dashboard glow, her lips curled in a wicked smile. The SUV edges closer, trying to force us off the road. Tires screech. Abigail jerks the wheel, barely keeping us straight. My heart slams against my ribs. "They're not going to stop," Lily shouts. "They want the folder." The SUV veers again, harder this time. We're pushed toward the edge of the dark road. The trees blur past. Abigail grips the wheel tight, her voice calm but urgent. "Hold on." The SUV slams into us. Once, twice. The car jolts. The folder spills from my lap, papers scattering onto the floor. I dive, clutching them with shaking hands. Lily grabs my shoulder, holding me steady. "Don't let go, Olivia," she cries. "That's your legacy." Another slam. The sound of twisting metal. Sparks fly. And then the SUV cuts in front of us, brakes hard, and our car spins. The world tilts. Screams tear from our throats. Papers swirl like broken wings. The headlights blind me as the SUV blocks the road ahead. The car shudders to a stop. Dust rises. Silence falls. And through the windshield I see Ethan step out of the SUV, his suit crisp, his smile cruel. He adjusts his cufflinks like this is all part of his plan. Miranda follows, holding a flashlight that cuts through the night. Ethan's voice is calm, too calm. "Game over, Olivia. Hand it over, or this ends badly." Will Olivia surrender the folder to save their lives, or stand her ground against Ethan and Miranda's ruthless ambush? The night air is heavy with dust and danger. Our car sits sideways on the lonely road, engine hissing, headlights trembling against the trees. The black SUV looms in front of us like a predator, blocking every escape. Ethan stands tall, his tux jacket now tossed aside, his shirt sleeves rolled to his elbows. His face is calm, too calm, like a man who already believes he's won. Miranda grips the flashlight, its beam cutting across the broken glass and twisted metal. "Hand over the folder, Olivia," Ethan says, his voice smooth, cold. "This isn't about love anymore. This is about survival. Yours and mine." Lily growls low in her throat, stepping halfway out of the car. "Over my dead body." Miranda's lips curl. "That can be arranged." Abigail steadies her breathing, eyes darting between the folder in my lap and the officers who aren't here, who should be here. Her whisper brushes my ear. "Stay calm. He doesn't want to kill. He wants control. That means we still have power." But my hands tremble. The river stone is slick with sweat in my palm, pressed so tight it almost leaves a mark. I remember Grandma's voice. Kindness is strength that chooses gentleness. I open the door slowly and step into the night. Gravel crunches beneath my shoes. The papers are clutched tight to my chest. Ethan's eyes follow me, sharp and hungry. "You mocked me at the altar," I say, my voice shaking but clear. "You left me for dead in front of everyone. And now you stand here demanding my family's legacy." He smirks. "Because you don't know how to use it. You'll waste it on kindness, on pity. I'll turn it into power." Miranda steps forward, her flashlight harsh on my face. "Give it to him, girl, before someone gets hurt." Behind me, Lily and Abigail step out too, shoulders squared, ready to fight even if it means losing. The road is quiet except for the faint chirp of crickets and the beating of my heart. I take a deep breath. "No." The word is small, but it shakes the air. Ethan's smirk dies, his eyes darken. "Think carefully, Olivia. You don't know the families like I do. I've already spoken to one of them." He leans closer, voice like poison. "They believe me. They think your grandfather cheated them. Soon the others will too. When I'm finished, your name will be mud, and that fortune will slip through your fingers like water." His words slice deep, but something rises in me, stronger than fear. I clutch the folder tighter and step closer until I can see my reflection in his eyes. "Then I'll go to them myself," I say firmly. "I'll tell them the truth before you twist it. And unlike you, I'll go with open hands, not empty lies." Ethan laughs, sharp and cruel. "We'll see who reaches them first." He snaps his fingers. The SUV's back door swings open, and two men step out, broad-shouldered, faces hidden in the beam of the flashlight. They move forward slowly, like shadows given shape. Lily gasps. Abigail stiffens. My knees tremble, but I don't step back. Ethan stretches out his hand toward me. "Last chance, Olivia. Give me the folder, or my friends will take it." The night holds its breath. And then, far down the road, headlights appear. Bright, steady, coming closer. Tires hum against the gravel. Ethan curses under his breath. Miranda hisses, "We don't have time for this." The headlights grow larger, flooding the road with light. And then, red and blue flashes spark against the trees. Sirens wail, slicing through the silence. Police cars. Lily lets out a shout of relief. Abigail exhales hard. Ethan's jaw clenches, his mask cracking. "Looks like the game isn't over yet," I whisper, clutching the stone in my palm. The cruisers screech to a stop, doors slam, officers pour out, guns drawn, voices booming, "Hands where we can see them!" Ethan's men freeze. Miranda's flashlight clatters to the ground. Ethan lifts his hands slowly, but his eyes never leave mine. There's no fear in them, only a dark promise. "You can't stop me, Olivia," he says softly, almost a whisper lost in the sirens. "Even if they take me now, I'll find another way. The truth will destroy you." The officers shove him toward the hood of the SUV. Miranda screams his name as she's cuffed too. Papers flutter in the wind around us, but I clutch the folder tight, my heart pounding like a drum. Abigail places a steady hand on my shoulder. "It's not over," she says quietly, "but tonight, you won." I nod slowly, though Ethan's words echo in my chest like thunder. "The truth will destroy you." As the officers drive him away, I feel both victory and dread tangled in my heart. Because I know the storm isn't finished. It's only circling back. The sirens fade into the night, leaving only the whisper of the wind and the faint hum of the police cruisers disappearing down the dark road. Ethan and Miranda are gone, for now, but their words echo like thunder in my chest. "The truth will destroy you." Abigail gathers the scattered papers carefully, sliding them back into the folder with trembling hands. Lily stands guard, arms folded tight, eyes scanning the trees as if expecting Ethan to appear again. I sit on the hood of our battered car, clutching the riverstone so hard it leaves a mark in my palm. Grandma's voice echoes in my memory. "You must find those families before he does." We drive through the night to Oak Ridge County. The roads are quiet, the moon hidden behind clouds. My heart pounds with each mile. Finally, we arrive at a small farmhouse tucked between rows of pine trees. Its porch light flickers weakly, but it feels like a beacon in the darkness. Abigail leads the way, folder tucked under her arm. Lily grips my shoulder. "Ready?" she whispers. I nod, though my legs tremble. We have to be. We knock. The door creaks open. An older man with weathered skin and sharp eyes peers out. Suspicion hardens his face when he sees us. "You're Reed's granddaughter?" he asks, his voice rough as gravel. "Yes," I whisper. "Olivia Reed." He steps onto the porch, his arms crossed. "Your grandfather promised us a share, promised us help. We never saw a dime. And now I hear your husband," he spits the word like poison, "says you've hidden millions while we struggled." Pain stabs my chest. Ethan has already reached them. But I take a step forward, clutching the stone, clutching Grandma's lessons. "You're right," I say softly. "He promised, and he died before he could fulfill it. But I will." The man blinks, startled. "You will?" Yes. My voice grows stronger. My grandmother raised me on kindness, not money. She taught me to give even when we had little. And now that we have much, I refuse to let his promise die. I will honor it. I will make it right. Silence hangs heavy. Then, slowly, the man's hard expression cracks. His shoulders sag. His eyes glisten. "No one ever said that," he murmurs. "Not in all these years." From inside the house, a woman steps out, her hair silver, her eyes soft with disbelief. "She speaks truth, Harold," she whispers. "Can't you hear it in her voice?" The man looks at me again, his jaw tight. Finally, he nods. "If you mean it, then maybe Ethan isn't the savior he claims." Relief floods me. I clutch the folder tighter. I mean it. With all my heart. Abigail steps forward, flipping open the folder. "We'll draw up agreements," she says firmly. "Legally binding. No tricks, no delays. Every family will get their share." The man exhales, long and heavy, as if laying down a burden he's carried for decades. "Then you have my word. We'll stand with you, not with him." Hope sparks in my chest. One family down. More to go. Over the next weeks, we traveled from county to county, farmhouse to farmhouse, city to city. Some slam doors in our faces, poisoned by Ethan's lies. Some weep with relief when they hear the truth. Some demand proof, and Abigail shows them every page, every signature, every seal. And slowly, slowly, the tide turns. When the press comes calling, the families themselves speak. They tell the world how I came to them, not with lawyers and threats, but with open hands and open heart. How I offered not excuses but promises fulfilled. How kindness, not greed, rebuilt bridges long burned. Ethan tries to fight from his jail cell, sending statements, twisting words. Miranda appears on talk shows, spitting venom, but their voices grow weaker as the truth grows louder. And then, one morning, Grandma holds my hand on the porch of our home in Riverbend. The sun rises over the trees, painting the sky gold. She smiles, her eyes soft. "You did it, child," she whispers. "You turned wolves into lambs, not by fighting their way, but by standing your way." Tears fill my eyes. "I only did what you taught me, Grandma, to plant kindness like seeds." She laughs, gentle and proud. "And look at the harvest." The world knows Ethan as the man who mocked his bride at the altar, the man who tried to steal, the man whose lies crumbled in the light. And me? I'm not just his abandoned bride. I am Ruth Reed's granddaughter, a woman who kept her grandfather's promise. The $750 million property is no longer just mine. It is shared with those who worked the land, those who carried the weight, those who deserved it all along. And in their smiles I find a wealth no paper could ever hold. Grandma's words echo once more. Kindness is not weakness. It is strength that chooses gentleness, and that is the legacy I choose to live. Where are you watching from? Drop your city in the comments. I'd love to know. What lesson did you take from Olivia's journey? And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe, so you never miss the next folktale storm. The story ends here, but the message lives forever. Kindness will always outlast cruelty.